During the holiday week last year, I ran into a Twitter debate that caught my attention. I don't have the link saved, otherwise I would have my editor put it on screen, but basically people were trying to compare who was the best character of a specific archetype. As you know, archetypes are something I very much enjoy, as does my fellow hive mind brother Mogrock. Don't worry, we'll get a collab soon. I already got one with Mars, and I'm going down the list. Anyways, everyone has made a tier list of the roster at some point or another, but I don't think many people did a standalone ranking on a singular archetype, which in my opinion can get really deep depending on which one. In light of this, I wanted to make a series ranking fighters within archetypes, and for today we're going to talk about heavyweights, so the plan is to go through each heavyweight at a time, and then give them a point total based on my evaluation of them, before lining them all up to see who comes out on top. For categorization, the fighters I'll be covering are specifically the conventional heavyweights that people think of, so that doesn't include Kazuya or Charizard, given that Charizard is not always Charizard when he's playing. That being Bowser, DK, Dedede, Ganondorf, Rool, and Incin. Let's get started. First character I'll be talking about is Bowser, widely considered the most traditional heavyweight in Smash and also, in the beginning of the game, the best heavyweight. At a surface level, it's easy to see why. On top of being the most durable fighter in the game, naturally giving him the best survivability, he has the best array of conventional properties in the game, easily winning out over his peers in ground and air physics to start with. Though he has a linear approach scheme, the fact that he can zoom across the stage and get up in your face is a privilege other heavies don't really have. From an offensive point of view, Bowser's in a decent position overall, with his tilts and smash attacks having some semblance of armor to allow him to challenge anyone who tries to snuff him out with a faster but weaker attack, and he's now with the strong tools in neutral and advantage to rack up damage or threaten his stock. Flying Slam prevents opponents from shield camping too much, a strategy that otherwise would be sound so as to prepare for and punish a linear approach. But conversely, Bowser can also punish you for recklessly attacking his shield courtesy of his own out-of-shield option, Whirling Fortress. He's definitely the most straightforward of the heavies to play, a few 1-2 combos here and there, but for the most part, it's about taking advantage of the fact that you can lose more neutral interactions than your opponent alongside a rudimentary understanding of tracking their habits, and there you go. While primarily a mid-range fighter, the existence of up B gives him an easy way to shake off anyone who attempts to get too close, and like most heavies, you have to respect his amazing grab game. What caused him to sort of fall off in the eyes of most people, however, is that while he has the lowest skill floor, Bowser also has potentially the lowest skill ceiling of the group and therefore the lowest output ceiling. He's extremely one-dimensional for better or worse, and over the years, means of other heavies have been tapping into the upper limits of what they can do, whereas Bowser can't really do all that much more than what the writing says on the wall. Not that he's a bad character per se, it's just that once people understood his windows of opportunity, threat range, and option select, or lack thereof, Bowser doesn't really have many ways to catch you off guard. He has a strong command grab and grab game in general, but he still sort of has to run towards you to get anything going, making his approach extremely predictable. Overall, I'd give him a 7.5 out of 10, not the worst heavyweight by any means, but he's too transparent to be anything higher. Sad as it may sound, heavies do rely on a modicum of cheese or surprise to make up for their weaker performance. Speaking of cheese, there's no other heavyweight who loves to screw people over in Wi-Fi than Donkey Kong. Players generally look to be in agreement that DK's a low tier, and yet every time you run into him it feels like the matchup is never free. While Bowser may have stronger conventional moves like up B, forward air, forward tilt, neutral B, and so on, DK's no slouch in this department either. Thanks to a long arm and leg span, his attack range is on par with if not outright better than Swordy's, and he's also deceptively fast in the realm of frame data, with multiple attacks coming out at frame 7 or earlier. DK also happens to be a rather fast boy, moving quickly throughout the air and on the ground, although he still struggles to mix up his approach game, typically needing to run straight towards you. That being said, the way he approaches neutral can be a lot less straightforward, as he can play a more spacing-oriented call-out heavy playstyle that can throw you off guard. From tools like reverse down B to even running spinning Kong to poking you with down tilts or a conventional dash attack that's pretty safe on shield and covers a lot of ground very quickly, you have to stay on your toes against him. Combos of DK typically deal higher damage on the basis of cargo throw leading into multiple up airs or back airs, and unlike Bowser who normally has to find stray hits to get your stock, DK has a couple more kill setups that make it easier for him to score kills, despite technically having more skill power than the Koopa King. Not to mention, he has a far better grappling game. Cargo throw is commonly regarded as the single best throw in the game due to allowing the character to move before actually throwing them, resulting in the classic ding-dong kill confirm off the top, or some cheesy gimps and skill checks off stage. Alas, of all heavies except maybe Ganondorf, DK is the least appropriately equipped to escape a bad situation, owing to his iconic large hurt box and a complete absence of ways to land outside of fast fall air dodge or B reverse. He also unfortunately is one of the easiest characters in the game to 2-frame, so while he's got plenty of kill power and damage in his kit, it's counterbalanced by having one of the worst disadvantages in the game. All you have to do is watch Chunky Kong against Mia and then just sit there feeling sorry for the big guy. However, I find that DK's ability to land more consistent kill confirms, early ones at that, and the sheer value of his grappling game making shielding impractically risky for his opponent gives him greater offensive faculty than Bowser, and even though he does have a weaker defensive line, it's one of those situations where the more you optimize your offense, the less you have to worry about your defense. You can lose 5 neutral interactions and then one-shot your opponent at 60 with a Ding Dong or a Spinning Kong in Town and City. I'll give him an 8 out of 10. Ganondorf, I think we all know where this is going. The sad part about this guy is that several of his moves individually rank among the best in the game. Dash attack, one of the best dash attacks in the game. Forward smash, one of the best forward smashes in the game. Up smash, potentially top 5. Neutral air, busted. Back air, busted. Up air, busted. Flame choke, busted. Dark dive, yes, I actually think his up B's busted as well. He's got remarkably good moves with excellent power and coverage, having a few combos to get a ton of damage off. Low-key, besides Revenge Instant, Ganon's definitely got the best raw kill power among heavyweights. If you get hit by forward smash at 30 or higher at the ledge, you're just dead. Back and forward air kill at like 70, you can really feel the power in his attacks. Unfortunately, all of that power is kept in check and then compromised by his abysmal everything else. Terrible ground and air physics making his approach game close to non-existent, instead forcing him to slowly inch forward with rising nairs or go for a risky call-out with a side B or down B to get anything started. He also apparently missed the handouts they gave to like every other heavyweight, having no utility that you would expect of a heavyweight to have like armor, anti-zoning tools, or things of that nature. And of course he has one of the worst recoveries in the game, owing to only having Dark Dive and his completely dismal air physics to work with. It would be no exaggeration to say that power is the only thing he has going for him, but power can come in many different forms in this game. Moreover, unlike other heavies, Ganon is the one heavy whose strengths cannot be used to guard his weaknesses. Bowser and DK both have punishable recoveries, but they can fight better on stage to avoid being thrown off stage to begin with. Fun as he might be to play and watch, Ganondorf will get a 5 out of 10. He's no melee Bowser, but there's a reason everyone puts him dead last when making a tier list. Dedede unfortunately isn't that much better, but to his credit, he is one thing no other heavyweight does: disjoints. You could argue the range of Bowser, DK and such are practically equivalent to a sword attack, but in terms of actual disjoints, Dedede has a hammer, a big one. Slow on the ground and the air just like Ganondorf, he can at least force approaches by making use of his Gordo, which while his opponent can knock it back to him, he can also counter knock it back with his Inhale, and if the Dedede player is committed to him most of the time, his opponent will lose patience before he does, especially since that same Inhale prevents others from projectile camping him. As a convenience, Dedede is more adequately suited to handle approaches through forward tilt, retreating back air, and the like. Being more trapper oriented of the heavies, he can be really annoying when he's in the driver's seat, and has a remarkably strong call-out game through moves like dash attack, up smash, and jet hammer. Jet hammer in particular can be really scary if you don't have an easy way of knocking him out of it like a projectile. Though he is still susceptible to juggling, the ability to throw a Gordo from the sky to cover him on his way down, and also air stall through his multi-jumps, and then eventually fast fall make him at least a bit better at landing than DK and Ganon. Sadly, that's about as far as it goes for him. Contrary to other heavies who usually have 1 or 2 moves that allow him to box up close, the best you can get out of the fat penguin is either down tilt or up tilt. Up tilt is pretty strong, but Dedede usually crumbles in close quarters combat. As a result, he has to play mostly mid to long range and look for opportunities to punish careless aggression. Despite being a heavyweight, scoring kills on Dedede can also be a challenge. Not the worst grab game out there, but certainly nowhere on the same level as the other heavies in kill power. And on the subject of kill power, apart from his YOLO attacks like dash attack or jet hammer, Dedede's attack strength is surprisingly modest for a heavyweight, essentially making it so the only way he can close out stocks is not by good play on his part, but bad play on the opponent's part. He's an improvement over Ganondorf, but a fair margin weaker than Bowser and DK. I'll give him a 6.5 out of 10. Alright, this is gonna be a hot take, but being one of the 2 new heavyweights, King K. Rool embodies that high ceiling I talked about earlier. Bluntly speaking, I find his placement as the 3rd worst character on the 2024 tier list to be a bit too harsh. K. Rool was initially perceived to be the first potential top-tier heavyweight in Smash history when the game came out, courtesy of his impressive and varied arsenal of tools. He has the whole works: unchallengeable attacks, 2 very solid projectiles that can set up into tons of things, a good grab game, excellent kill confirm potential, decent frame data, anti-zoning with a reflector. He had a good thing going. Midway through Ultimate though, people felt like his weaknesses, notably a subpar out of shield game, linear recovery, and extreme end lag, were enough to keep him at the pits of bottom tier, but through a myriad of buffs and more character innovation, we're seeing a K. Rool uprising as of late. He plays a lot like Dedede in the sense that he's got a very strong punish and trapping game. Crowd and Blunderbuss do a better job forcing approaches than Gordo, and he can abuse the fact that most of his attacks come with the trademark belly armor to literally brute force his way through most people. Heavyweights are at risk of getting stuffed out due to their comparatively slower frame data, but K. Rool can override that by simply face tanking. In a similar fashion to his rival DK, K. Rool's got no shortage of kill setups that can annihilate your stock at ludicrously low percents. Down tilt's a true combo into forward smash beginning around 75%. Down throw up smash if timed correctly assures death around the 90% mark. He can also set up into an up smash or up air through Crown's returning hit, which he can bait people into by doing jab 1 or 2 to keep them in place while it's on the way back. Down air can also lead into an up air. K. Rool's advantage is also worth noting, as neutral air dash attack and forward tilt are among the best at what they do, especially if the opponent is trying to fight their way back to neutral. Similarly to Bowser and DK, trying to shield against him is heavily discouraged. Back throw is one of the best kill throws in the game at the ledge, especially with rage. Forward throw leads into an easy dash attack at 0, up throw is the highest damaging throw in the game and also doubles as a kill throw at higher percents, and down throw can lead into 50-50s and then eventually true combos at higher percent. K. Rool's main strength is how creative the player can be in getting stuff done, making him far less predictable than the likes of Bowser and Ganondorf. The main issue with him though is the fact that most of his strengths, from zoning to trapping to attacking, heavily depend on the opponent not knowing and therefore respecting what he can do. Once they become aware of it, K. Rool does still pose a threat, but carefully dancing around him and waiting to punish the extreme end lag on many of his attacks can make it a lot easier to deal with him. That said, I actually believe K. Rool is one of the better heavyweights in the game by virtue of his creativity being the secret weapon he can pull out against even top players. 8 out of 10. Last but not least, Incineroar. Public opinion viewed him as the best heavyweight following the impressive results garnered by SkyJ. While he's no longer participating in the competitive scene, the mark he made with the character certainly remains to this day. Incine's got a lot going for him, fantastic moveset, you can't really find a single bad move in his kit. Strong combos that can get set up through a number of his attacks, a strong grab game both in the form of his normal grab and Alolan Whip, and with the help of Revenge, Incine deals by far the highest damage out of any character in the game through a single hit, no shortage of clips of him literally one-shotting you off a single side B or forward smash. One of the longest running sentiments about the character has been that if only he had better physics, he would actually be a high tier character at worst. For all intents and purposes, Incine is Ganondorf if they actually remembered to give him meaningful utility. A solid hybrid between a typical brawler and grappler who excels at racking up damage and then working towards kill confirms. He's actually not that much different from a normal brawler like Wolf, Wario, Captain Falcon and such, only obviously a lot slower but stronger. Incine's higher performance comes from the fact that while he's slow as balls, it's not as crippling as it may seem since the vast majority of the cast has to confront him eventually. Down B discourages you from projectile camping, and circle camping is also somewhat risky, as if you get hit even once you're fucked. Furthermore, Alolan Whip is a phenomenal burst option at mid-range and may even be the single best command grab in the game thanks to being a burst movement option, having multiple setups, and aiding in recovery. He has just enough to where, despite being susceptible to getting outranged or zoned off here and there, he can easily make up the difference with a single neutral interaction. That's the X factor. Doesn't matter how hard the matchup is, if he can land a revenge powered side B, the matchup can go to hell. However, because Incine's a very slow character with no projectiles or setup tools, he has the same issue as Bowser and Ganon, where his approach game is so linear that while still an execution check, characters can easily dance around him and get their shots in whenever possible. He doesn't have any super armor to brute force through attacks, and revenge can ultimately be cancelled out by a grab, not to mention the onus of still having to land an attack after absorbing a projectile. Altogether, I would put him as an 8 out of 10. So putting it together, that means the best heavyweight is a tie between Incine, K. Rool, and Donkey Kong. Reason I did this was because I'm honestly not sure which of the three has it the best. For my money, I'm looking at either DK or K. Rool. Both of them have found substantial improvements in tournament performance compared to Incine, given SkyJ was the only real high-profile rep for the character. Meanwhile, Walt made a video discussing the DK renaissance, and with the best placements of K. Rool we've seen to date through Brujo and Ball's recent performance, I would put it on them. Personally, I want to see more K. Rool, but that's just me. Anyway, what do you guys think about my rankings? Do you agree or disagree with them? Feel free to share in the comments. That's it for today, so if you enjoyed the video, a like and subscribe would be much appreciated. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Vars, join my Discord server, and check out my other Smash discussions if you haven't yet. But till next time, thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.
The belly armor like that, the F tilt's so close to hitting.
But we know Lumi when he has those periods where he is just top 50 in the world, like we've seen before. He is 39 on Lumi rank. Could he do top player right now?
Yeah.
Young Kirby Kid obviously having just come out of retirement. He might be sending the old man back home.
Yeah, that's it all on the dash attack. Doesn't work out. Oh my god, that was so close.
And that's it! That's gonna be it! Lukewarm with game 5 over Louis Money!
Advancing inner winners top 8. Louisiana rep.